Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a sloppy sports and entertainment talk show that covers everything from the New York football Giants, the New York baseball Mets, movies, television, comedy, life lessons, life stories, and a whole lot more. And it is hosted by a giant mess. That is me, the real cinch, Neal Lynch. Who am I? I'm an Irish Italian American, graduated from a Catholic high school, but I am not Catholic. And then I went on to earn a couple of overpriced degrees from an overpriced university that's known for producing doctors and lacrosse players. And I decided that money is for the birds, and chicks, they're not free. So I decided to tell stories. Funny stories. They try to be. Sometimes they get a couple chucks, couple thaws, but most times they get cringes. You can leave a voicemail at 862-248-1986. That's 862-248-1986. That's 862-248-1986. I don't even check the voicemail. I don't even know why I say leave a voicemail. I don't check the voicemail before any of these shows. And then I have to leave a voicemail at, and I think to myself, oh, snap. Probably should have checked the voicemail, but why? Why don't people call it? Just call it and tell me your deepest, darkest secrets. You can subscribe to Giant Mess on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Neal Lynch or Real Cinch or Giant Mess. Official blog is neallynch.com. Probably need to update it. Facebook.com/Giant Mess. Real Cinch on Twitter and Instagram. You can subscribe to Giant Mess on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, something called Audio Mac, Return of the Mac. There it is. Or whatever you like to put those MP3s in those beautiful minds of yours. On today's episode, big birthday weekend, the big birthday trip up to Block Island, Rhode Island, New Shoreham, Rhode Island, where there was a lot of clapping, a lot of fire pit action, a lot of like, let's convene around the fire pit, the new fire pit, tell stories, look at the stars, make a lot of food. We made a Thanksgiving turkey dinner. What? It's October. Come on. Get your dates straight. And a little bit Ouija board action. On the tail end of that Ouija board action, some real freaky stuff going on in the backyard. And a lot of hypotheticals. Hey, what if you were king or queen? How would you rule? Benevolent or not so much? The hodgepodge of the motley crew of characters at this breakfast sandwich restaurant that we went to, aka Hungover Alley. I guess you'd say Hungover Hut, and then a birthday call, FaceTime with my mom, which took a lot of detours. I don't know any other way to put it. There was a lot of tangents, hard to follow, but I'll try and keep up to date on that. With all that and possibly a lot of random stuff mixed in, let's get it going. Let's apply pressure to the gas pedal and get it going. Still sick. Unbelievable that this is now still going on. You know, I used to like poke a little fun at my mom, mi madre, because she was going on something like 5 weeks of being sick, where it's like a cough and this and that. And I was like, you senior citizen, you and your ailments, that's not going to affect me, Mr. Middle-aged man. And it turns out, no, I'm just can't get over the hump for whatever reason. You know, after all that I've put in my body, everything I've done, and I'm sure this past weekend didn't help. So my buddy had a birthday, which is sounds ridiculous to say out loud. My 42-year-old buddy, well, my 41-year-old buddy, he turned 42, and so obviously that means we have to congregate and celebrate the best years of our lives. So I made the venture back out to Block Island, Rhode Island. Not feeling 100%. You know, they had some other friends from out of town come in, one from Tampa, one from Boston. You know, not a huge gathering, just small 5 people. I was the fifth wheel. Felt really good to be back in that seat. That's where I thrive, as a third wheel and the fifth wheel. Totally not awkward at all. That's just right. That's my groove thing. That's my groove thing, baby. As the third or fifth wheel. It's just where I belong. I figured out that at an early age, when I previously would go up to Cranston, Rhode Island every summer to celebrate my buddy's birthday and to watch him make out with his new girlfriend. He had a new girlfriend every summer, and I just basically hung out with him and her and watched them make out. So if you ever wonder like where, why, and the hows and the whats, it's a good clue. It's a good indication of the how and the why and the what of who I am. So I was the fifth wheel, not 100%, but I said I'm going to play through it. I'm going to play through the pain, and I'm going to give it my all, and body health be damned. So managed to get on the 3 p.m. ferry, forgot my toiletry bag, which is I was probably 20 minutes drive from home. Could have probably turned around, got it, and went and made the ferry. But I was like, I don't want to risk it for the biscuit. So made the 3 p.m. ferry. Got on it way too early and threw a bang in me. Ended up stopping at this Walgreens. I'm like a regular at this Walgreens. I don't even live in the area, but every time I go up to Block Island, I stop at this Walgreens to pick up last minute essentials that I always forget in the packing process. And got a Bang energy drink. Bang is like my go-to energy drink now. It's happened one overnight drive down to South Carolina. I picked one up because it said rainbow unicorn flavor or something. I was like, I've always wondered what the hell a corn tastes like. Corn is what I call a uni. Uni is also what I call a unicorn. And sure enough, it was good shit. And so now that's like my go-to drink. Although this one was a mango, and I'm not a huge mango guy. But it still hit the spot. Constantly had a throat drops, cough drops, throat drops. Oh, really, Neal? You did a throat drop? Wow. Cough drops that have like the gel inside, which I'm in on that too. Even though it makes my breath smell like disease. I don't know. It was like adult gushers, maybe, if you will. So that was kind of cool. And, we got there, or I got there, and 4 o'clock, 4 something. And then we quickly, I had some drinks, caught up a little bit. And then we went to this place called Eli's, which is right down by the ferry. And there was a line out the door down the street. And I'd like to think that's because this is kind of off season. Not kind of, it is off season for Block Island. They don't even offer the high-speed ferry at this time, but they do offer it during Thanksgiving week, which I thought was kind of weird. What's going on in Thanksgiving? How many people are giving thanks that need to get in and out that quickly? Y'all are grateful. You're going to be more grateful when it's high-speed season. So this place, Eli's, I've never been there before. Not a big place, small place. And I had to actually like tuck and roll out of the Jeep we were in to get a spot in line so that we made sure that we dined in a reasonable time frame. And so I got in line behind 2 of the older people in line, and then we were in front of a group of younger people, probably the youngest people in line. And it's an interesting place to be. It was literally the evolution of man, of humankind, like younger people in their early 20s, mid 20s, maybe. Then you have the middle-aged folks who are like in their early 40s. And then you have the septuagenarian, octogenarian. I mean, the guy who gets in line in front of us is like, man, this is a longer line than what I stood in for during the Depression. Like, oh, okay. All right. Got that going on. And then the younger people are just making fun, just constantly making fun of everyone that's older than them. What a time to be alive. And I'm stuck in the middle of it like, well, okay, I guess we're getting made fun of strictly because we're older. Is that okay? Cool. And then, the older folks are just like, glad to be here. I'm just glad I woke up this morning. It's like kind of in between those two right now. Still trying to act and behave as if I am in my early 20s, but the toll it's taken is just, I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. And I feel bad for my grandmother too, because I try to stop in, since she lives in Cranston, I try to stop in for like a dinner, a quick, visit as on my way back. And, maybe I should start going before I go to Block Island, because every time I come back on the way back, it's like I'm fried. There's just nothing left in the tank. And so she must think that this is like, what is wrong with him? But she never will say that. She just thinks I'm an angel. She is severely wrong and off on that take. But yeah, I feel bad for her because I'm not present. It's like, leave a message out of the beep, dude. I'm not here. I know my body looks like I'm here, but I'm just reliving all the mistakes I've ever made in my life and dreading everything, even though I don't have work the next day. So yeah, that's kind of the headspace I was in. But Eli's was good. We got in fairly quickly, and they took us to a table, sat at it, and had at it. I think we ordered tuna nachos, heirloom salad, and cod cakes for appetizers. And then, like an idiot, I doubled down on the tuna bent and decided to get tuna steak, which was one of the best tuna steaks I've ever had. But it goes way too quickly. There were plenty of martinis mixed in. I'm trying to think if I had a different drink other than a martini. Possibly. I don't know. But we went back to the house and there was a new fire pit. And I can't really explain or express how much I love bonfires and fire pits. It's just like, and I guess I didn't fully appreciate it or understand my love and passion for fire pits and bonfires until this past year. But it's looking back, it's like, I don't think I've ever had a bad time when there's fire. When fire is the main character, is the hub, the nucleus of the gathering. It just always goes well. Did I almost fall in one during a fraternity brother retreat? No, did not. I don't think. But yeah, that's like my favorite fall activities, I'd say. Summer, it's cool too, for show. But something about the fall, I don't know that many people do it during the winter, but it feels like more of a fall thing. And it's my favorite things to do in the fall. Now, this fire pit is new. It was bought by the friend visiting from Tampa. What a baller move. And that's just the type of character this guy is. Kind of grab bull by the horns, grab the reins, take control, and just do things without asking. And shoot first, ask questions later. All those great cliches. This guy embodies it. So I guess he went ahead and just bought a fire pit, sent it to the house. And that was like the highlight of the weekend, really, was we go outside when we normally wouldn't go outside, I don't think, for as long as we did. Gather around the fire pit and just shoot the shit. Tell some stories and gaze upon them stars. Such a great time. Although there was a lot of people putting their bare feet up on the fire pit. So this fire pit was like, it's basically just a propane tank, but it has a cover that looks like a stone pit. But it's not really stone. It's like portable, which I think is great. And then a ring of fire. I think Johnny Damon. Wow. Johnny Cash would be very proud with his ring of fire. Very cool. You ever take like your ice cube from your drink and just like kind of chuck it in there and just have it like, it's like you're at a Japanese hibachi steakhouse or something like that, or in a sauna, something else like that. But a lot of people putting their bare feet up on the fire pit, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't put my bare feet up there. I'm not like, I don't think my hands and feet are that disgusting, but I don't really like to put them on display. I don't know. Like I look at my hands, and these hands have been my hands for so long, and they look normal to me, but they don't to others. So, I've said this in the past. It's just like huge palm, big time palm, short, stubby little Vienna sausage fingers. And then the feet, pretty much the same thing, where it's like big ass sole, very flat, and then little mini toes. So wasn't as comfortable putting the piggies out there. But two things that really dominated the conversation, or that we kind of running gags. I don't know how recent this was, but Brendan Fraser got a standing ovation at I don't even know what it was, some ceremony award show. 13 minutes, something like that. Ana de Armas getting a standing ovation for her performance as Marilyn Monroe in the Netflix movie Blondie. That was also like double-digit minutes or something like that. Have you ever tried to clap for 13 minutes straight? There were a few attempts over this weekend where it's like someone claps and it's like another person claps and it's like, well, okay, now keep it going for 10 more minutes. And I think the most of those sessions got to like 2 or 3 minutes, and I was like, this is so dumb. Like, not only does my hand starting to hurt, but I mean, honestly, once you get to 10, 13 minutes, what is preventing you from just doing it for 15, 20 minutes? Just never stop clapping. I don't know how that happens. And I honestly would feel so freaking awkward if I had to stand there. If it's to me, like I'm standing there and then people are just looking at me and clapping for 10 minutes. I mean, after minute 1, I would be a little freaked out. After minute 2, I'd be like, how do I turn this off? Where's the switch? After minute 3, it's I don't get it. And I hope I'm never actually part of something like that. I just said, no, thank you. There's nothing in the world that I would clap for 10, 13 minutes. I don't care what the promise of reward it was at the end for me personally. So I'm out on standing ovations lasting more than a minute. And then the other one was, a lot of talk about the Royals, of course, because our lady friend from Boston is a Royals expert, you could say. Consigliere, sommelier, that kind of, very well versed in the Royals. Of course, House of the Dragon, also a topic of conversation. So we're like, what if you were king? What if you were queen? What would it be like? And so this lady from Boston, a benevolent queen, and I believe it. But our other, my buddy's wife, nicknamed Monster, it would not know. Malevolent queen. Talking about anyone that was, let's say, all over the plate, way to put it would be like a curvy gal or guy would not survive under her reign. Neither would someone who is maybe not, maybe even middle class or lower. Anyone who's not upper class and anyone who's not a skeleton would be promptly executed no matter what. It's like, kill them. Again, you get to really know folks when power and control is all theirs. You know, we talked a couple weeks ago about, hey, what would you do if you were in the purge? And it was like, oh, I would set up a death battle where people would have to kill and torture each other in order to escape and gain their freedom and to have dinner with me. Okay. I would pick off all these people one by one. All right. And if I were queen, I would execute anyone who wasn't rich and fit. Okay, these are my friends. This is human nature, I guess. Which led me to ask, like, so how have you not executed me? Like I am pudge and poor. I am impoverished, and some would say a little too well nourished. So how am I still in the mix here? Am I the exception? Am I supposed to am I the motivation for others in my situation? Like, hey guys, here's the note from up top. We got to lose weight and we got to gain some revenue, income. So yeah, that was the running theme, the running gag. The Thanksgiving turkey dinner was fun to cook, but before that, my the friend from Tampa ball game, he is one who doesn't typically go to bed early, but yet can get up early. Like, I don't know how he's able to function, but I can usually be one of the last standing people, you know, when there's a gathering or party or whatever. Like, I'm usually the last to go to bed. I don't want the good times to end. But then, you know, I'm going to sleep my ass off. Like, I'm not getting up early no matter what. I'm going to do my damnedest to stay in that bed no matter what I miss in those morning AM hours. And this guy went to bed with me. We're the last two standing, and then he was the first one up. And not only the first one up, but he was the first one up by like 3 hours. So I'd say most of us get up around like 9. He was up at 6:30. We were just like, what did you do with yourself? And then we looked at our phones and we're like, oh, you were just texting all of us nonstop and sending out angry work emails. So it's like if it's a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and you're getting emails from your boss, it's because your boss probably doesn't know how to sleep in and probably doesn't have friends that get up early. That's the situation. Otherwise, that guy would not be sending work emails. If he's getting up at the appropriate time with all of his friends, he ain't got time for work emails. He managed to get me up and Adam, and we went to this place called Oddfellows, which is also by the ferry and is also one of the few breakfast sandwich places that is open on the island. And couldn't have found a more appropriate name for a place like this, because there were some odd fellas and fillies in this establishment. We walk in, and on the stools to the right, not waiting in line, is a woman in cutoff jean shorts. Now keep in mind, we're like mid to late October, New England island. So it's not exactly tropical. She's in cutoff jean shorts and a black short sleeve t-shirt, almost like a tank top. And the shirt she's wearing, I didn't see until she eventually was leaving, and I didn't even get to read the whole thing. But it led off with this. Don't like abortions? Just ignore them. Okay. That's a really aggressive t-shirt to wear anytime, but specifically on a Saturday morning, like very early in the morning after everyone's been getting after it the night before. Like someone probably waiting in that line could be a candidate for what your t-shirt is advertising. And it's like, can you imagine if you had unprotected relations, you weren't really sure how things were going to turn out, and you walk into that fine eatery, delicatessen, and you see that shirt, and that now you're in an even bigger moral conundrum because you're like, oh, I didn't even want to think about this today. I made a mistake last night, and that here we are. Is this God's plan? So she's talking to a guy who is very reminiscent of Riggs from Barstool Sports. Kind of like, you know, bubbly personality. He's wearing sunglasses, and he is close talking everyone, like just a close talker. And he's a loud talker. So he's a loud, close talker, and possibly still drunk. I put money on it, talking about trying to fly internationally and wanting to drink red wine on Xanax. So, you know, hard to keep up with, hard to take notes of all the things this guy was talking about, but he knew everyone in this place, just like the mayor friggin' little breakfast sandwich place, hugging everyone in line. Eventually he's talking to a heavier gal that's wearing a hoodie that said, "I'm not for everyone." And I was like, yeah, all right. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's, to me, even though that's an invitation for me to talk to that person, it's like, hey, I'm not for everyone either, but maybe we're for each other. It's so stupid like that. But no, it's it's a mixed bag. You could go up to the person and they could suck, and you'd be like, well, they did tell me, they did put it out there. It's not false advertising. But I feel like if you're willing to put that on your shirt and advertise that, then you're okay in my book. That you're marketing to the choir. Is that a freaking expression? No. There was an 80-year-old, bald, shuffling, not moving, not too spry, wearing a bandana. So not like a bandana that is kind of, I guess, the Hulk Hogan style bandana where it's pulled back and tucked in. This is like Warriors Come Out and Play type bandana, that kind of thing. Sly Stallone and Rambo type bandana. So I was like, okay, that guy's pretty badass. Would like to know his story. And then we got to witness the most awkward conversation that you could possibly have between two pairs of girlfriends, where just trying to guess like what the dynamic is between these people. From what I could tell, all right, there's two girls waiting in line. Two girls show up right behind them. The one girl turns and goes, "Hey," and it was like, okay, feels like if I'm like trying to give my best guess about what the relationships are, what the backstory is, they might have been used to be friends and had a falling out, and that's why the other girl that's in the front, like straight up refused to turn around. Like didn't like had her back to the two girls behind her the entire time. So it's like there was a falling out. This girl who did turn around and is talking to the girls behind her is like trying to salvage some aspect of the relationship, or maybe she told them, "Oh, I can't hang out with you guys because I have other plans." And now that she's been caught in the act and she's like with another friend or something, because I couldn't have been more awkward. The fact that the other girl who is the front pair straight up didn't turn around at all, didn't even take a peek, was just had her back to the two girls behind her, was outrageous, which leads me to believe like she just like hates the two girls behind her. And you could tell that the girl she's with that was trying to talk to the two girls behind them was I don't know, was just attempting to try and make it work. And it was just a fiery ball of flames. Like it just was, it was the Hindenburg. Basically, it was a disaster. I mean, the whole place was a triage unit for sure. The Walking Dead, whatever you want to say, you could tell everyone in that place, just about everyone in that place. There was two groups. I think it was like the people who just partied their genitalia off and were just trying to survive the morning and like hungover as balls. And then you had the other group, which was a minority. I'd say there was more of the hungover group than the non-hungover group. These are the people that are like, oh, I have been up since the sunrise and I've gone for a run, I've done the laundry, da da da. It's like you have the morning people who went to bed early, didn't drink or do anything. Maybe they had a glass of wine and they're up early and they're just doing all their errands and this is part of it. And then you have the other pair that are like literally rolled out of bed into a pair of hoodies and sweatpants and tumbleweed their way to the breakfast sandwich place. Some of the outfits that you see, it's just like, yeah, I can just tell you're hungover by your outfit. Like you're wearing socks with Birkenstocks and then like torn, shredded sweatpants with, a t-shirt. Like, okay. People were just like, be glad I'm not naked. Essentially was the takeaway there. And then there was a guy who looked like he was in Tiger King. Not Joe Exotic, not Carol Baskin, but the other dude who's like a doctor, apparently, maybe, in North Carolina, and also has a harem of young ladies at his disposal. That guy was in the mix. So an interesting melange. Is that the word? Menagerie? There's the palette was wide and eclectic and entertaining, to say the least. But we came back, made the Thanksgiving turkey dinner, mashed potatoes, stuffing. It was pretty, just three dishes, really. Mashed potatoes, the stuffing, and the turkey itself. And I had potato duty, peeled, cubed, and even that was too slow. And I don't understand the urgency there because the turkey has to cook for usually it has to cook for like 4 or 5 hours. We put this in at like maybe 12 something and it was out before 3, like 2:30. It's like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours tops. And this thing was done by me going like at a snail's pace, trying to peel and cube potatoes. Like, what's the rush? ¿Dónde está el fuego? I don't get it, but apparently it was too slow for everyone's taste. And so everyone decided to chip in and get that done really quick, just so it could just sit there in water for an hour or 2 hours. Like, okay, cool. As long as people realize and recognize, like, it's not intentional. It's just that's my operational speed. Like, that's my speed. Is my normal speed is molasses, Heinz 57 ketchup coming out the bottle. Like, that's the speed and the pace that I work at. And sometimes people don't notice, but the fact that this is a long play, like Thanksgiving dinner, prepping that and cooking that and everything, that's like a long process. It's not like a shake and bake, 1, 2, 3, we're donesy. Like, it's going to take a while. So you would think that my pace of peeling and cubing would match well with that, would pair well with that kind of process or procedure. And still too slow. I just can't move fast. I did get a card for the birthday boy, and it said something to the effect there were 2 squirrels on the front, and one squirrel has a pair of nuts that he's holding. And I think it was just like, hey, can you stop going around showing your nuts? And then on the inside you open it and it says, hey, happy birthday, go nuts. So you now have free license to show your nuts at this gathering. You have earned your license to thrill via nuts and legumes. So I thought that was a great card. And then our lady queen from Boston ate a funfetti cake, which was delicious and pairs and goes well with the shrimp cocktail that we forgot to eat before the Thanksgiving dinner that made an appearance like late night. Nothing like eating shrimp cocktail and funfetti cake. It's like cocaine and waffles, peanut butter and Chinese food. So we ended up breaking out the Ouija board at one point. I've never done a Ouija board in my life. I would be down to do it again, but it didn't last very long, but it was intense. We had, my buddy's wife was, I guess, the medium, self-proclaimed medium. So she would ask the questions, and then we all put our finger on the thingamajig. What is it? Is that guitar pick looking thing a Ouija? Is that the Ouija? And then you have the board. And so that's why it's Ouija board. I guess it's the Ouija. If not, I called it the guitar pick because it kind of looks like a guitar pick, and it also has a magnifying glass. I don't know. The cursor, the mouse, I guess you could call it that. First question, how many spirits are with us tonight? And it starts, and it's like kind of stationary for a little bit. And I'm like, all right, is this going to be boring as fuck? Like, it's just not going to move at all. And all of a sudden, it slowly starts to move. And then as, I assume this happens with everyone. And you see it in TV shows and movies and not. It's like, quit pushing it. You're pushing it. You're pulling it. Like, you're moving it. No, I'm not moving it. That's exactly what happened in this one. But it's how could you not ask that when it's like we all have our finger on it and you know for a fact that you're not doing it, and then you look around the room and it's like trying to decide. You look at the tension, the white and the knuckles, and you look at the tension, the fingers, and seeing like, okay, who's straining, who's flexing, and everyone's no, I'm not pushing it, not pulling it. And so, how many spirits are with us? 3. Went to the number 3. Next question was, do you have good intentions? And so it went to no, and that's when I started to freak the fuck out. I was like, okay. Fuck the shit. No. Why, there's a movie about this. Like, anyone who plays this freaking thing ends up dead. So why are we doing this again? I forget why. So 3 and then no. And so that's when we had to brainstorm. We're like, all right, we got to figure this out, because maybe devil's advocate. Okay. So they don't have good intentions, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have bad intentions, right? Like, right. So maybe they just don't have any intentions. Or whatever. And so the next question we formulated was, do you have bad intentions for us or towards us? And that was a big one. Because if that's yes, you kind of have to start packing your bags, right? And you have to be like, all right, well, it's been a great weekend. I love you guys, but I know there's no ferry out of here, but I'm willing to swim. It's probably going to be like a 5-hour swim, so I better get started so I can get home before the spirits realize what's going on and hunt us down and turn us inside out. Fortunately, it went to no. So we all breathed a collective sigh of relief, and we're like, all right, well, let's get to know these guys, these spirits. They don't want to do anything bad to us. They just might be in a frisky mood where it's like, this isn't necessarily good intention, but it's a little rambunctious, a little frisky. So the next question that we came up with, well, someone wanted to ask their names, and I'm like, we're going to be here all freaking night if we have to do full names. So like, all right, well, what spirits, can one of you tell us your initials? And so that's when I went to T and then G and then 4, which is like, I don't know, that's really helping us out too much. And so my mind immediately went to Todd Gurley IV. Now, for those of you who don't follow the NFL, football, whatever, Todd Gurley is a former NFL running back, played for the Rams and the Falcons, hasn't played in like a year or two, I want to say. If you were then and there, if you were to say, final answer, Todd Gurley the fourth, I'd have been like, yep, put all of my life savings on Todd Gurley the fourth. Final answer. And I just now realized he's Todd Gurley the second. There's no fourth yet. He's very much still alive. He's not a spirit. I'm sure he has spirit, but he's not a spirit. My guess is it's not Todd Gurley the fourth. But he did just retire. So his NFL life as a player is over. So he has moved on. He has passed on to NFL purgatory, where now we have to decide whether or not he goes to NFL hell or NFL heaven. So in that sense, maybe I was spot on. Or maybe Todd Gurley the fourth will exist, has passed on, and his spirit has time traveled. How's your mind now? Huh? If you like pretzels. So yeah, we didn't figure out what the spirits were, but right on the hot on the trail of that Ouija board session. So we're like, whoa, this is intense. My buddy gets up, he goes to the kitchen to do something. He turns around and apparently he sees something in the window. He then kind of not really makes a lot of noise, but he kind of like quietly goes out the front or back. I don't even know what the front or back is anymore. The porch. And goes out to the corner of the porch and starts like kind of yelling towards us, but not like yell, just like a half shout type of thing. Like, hey, come back here. Hey, guys, come out here. Come look at this. And as you know, I've made this clear. I'm slow. So like if it's a fire, I'm probably getting burnt. If it's a life or death situation, hey, how's it going, Jesus? Nice to meet you. This is the Holy Father. That's cool. So yeah, I'm not making it in time. And Monster, my buddy's wife, doesn't move too quick either. So by the time we get out there, he's like, you guys, there was a pickup truck full of people that were screaming, hooting, and hollering in our backyard. They peeled out when I came out here and they took off through the woods, and look at them. Now they're driving down the road. And I look and I saw a pair of taillights moving pretty fast down the road. And that's when I started to bug out. Thank you, Ouija board. But also, what the F and F? I guess it would help to describe this Block Island residence. They have, I have in the past, but if you haven't listened to that episode, it's a football field backyard. It's the size of a football field, pretty much. But it's the property lines, I guess, where you divide the properties. There are stone walls, like Revolutionary War, Battle of Gettysburg, stone walls. By his account, the way he initially described it, I thought he was saying that he saw this truck come barreling down their driveway, which is on a hill, going through the backyard, peeling out and doing whatever in that backyard, and then going across and coming back up on the other side of the house and somehow getting through the woods onto the road. And I was like, that's absurd. There's no way that happened just now. And he's like, no. When I looked out to the right, I saw the reflection of brake lights or tail lights in that window, which meant that they were over there to begin with on that side. And that when he apparently heard them hooting and hollering, went out there, and that's when they took off through the woods onto the road, which is that's mischievous for sure. That's some mischief night, devil's night type shit that you would see or encounter. Not that I've ever been a part of something like that, but I would imagine like if this is September, November, any other month, I think that just doesn't happen. I think that's something that's like, it's October, let's get freaky. You know, I can only imagine if like the Ouija board wasn't part of the equation, like what our reactions would be. But coming fresh off the Ouija board into that story, it was like, okay, maybe we are in danger. Like maybe we should just lock up, board up, and try to weather the storm that is the shitstorm that's coming our way. But I think things kind of settled down after that. But whoa, you talk about like hairs on end, bone chilling stuff, that'll do it to you. Were those the three spirits? Was it really a ghost truck? So I have a feeling maybe that played a part in my buddy's reaction. Is like he's still high off the Ouija. He still tips on that Ouija. You know what I'm saying? As we say in the game. And so maybe that contributed to him like seeing things that weren't there. And I was like, were there 3 people in this truck? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh. But then again, those aren't good intentions driving through someone's backyard, but it's not like bad intentions towards us. It was just like they're just trying to spook us and have a spooky time. It's Halloween season, y'all. What do you expect? Yeah, when the blood's flowing like that and the juices are flowing, the adrenaline's going, it's like, all right, let's try and bring it down a notch and just get back to the good vibes. So stayed up kind of late, but then Next day was my mother's birthday, and so I FaceTimed her. Only my mother. And maybe I say this, but maybe it's just a whole generation of people. I call her to wish her a happy birthday. That then turns into talking about, trick or treating and what, I'm trying to do for Halloween with Bree, my daughter. And her relaying, somehow finding a way to connect all these horror stories from the news because she watches Fox News nonstop. And I'm pretty sure it's not great for your health, but she then finds ways to tangentially connect all these horror stories she hears on Fox News, one after one to me. And I'm just like, unsubscribe. Like, I don't want to hear about any of this because A, who knows how much of it is actually true? Like fact from fiction, I don't have the time to weed through that. But B, what am I supposed to do with this information? So we start off with the Halloween trick-or-treat story. It's that, well, make sure that she doesn't eat. If she gets Skittles or Nerds, don't let her eat it. Like, throw it away. I was like, all right, here we go. Why? Well, because there's fentanyl. People are somehow smuggling fentanyl that looks like Skittles and Nerds candy into the country across the border. That then leads to, why is that happening? How does that happen? How does Alex's dad from the Goddard School daycare, how the hell does he get his hands on Skittles and Nerds that are fentanyl? So you're saying, like, what are you saying? You're saying Walgreens, CVS, anywhere that has Halloween candy, you can't be 100% sure that that's the actual candy, that like there's a healthy portion of that candy that's actually fentanyl, or the fentanyl is somehow finding its way into the processing manufacturing plants, the factories, the dishes. Like, what? And she's like, yeah, it's coming across the country because of the migrant crisis, the borders, we don't have the wall. And so these Mexican cartels are smuggling all this fentanyl into the country and packaging it and presenting it as Skittles and Nerds. And I was like, okay. And she's like, and that fentanyl is coming from China. So China is running the fentanyl. This is how they're slowly killing us. And this is how they're slowly going to take us over, is that they have this fentanyl, they're producing the fentanyl, they're then filtering it, they're giving it to the Mexican drug cartels, and then the cartels are then smuggling it into the country as Skittles and Nerds. And you know what? Maybe that is the case. But at the same time, okay, I guess I'll just avoid Skittles and Nerds. Like this Halloween, not that I had like my sights set on Skittles or Nerds. They're not even in my top 10 of candies. I mean, I don't think I've ever willingly bought Nerds or Skittles. And I think if someone gave me Skittles or Nerds, I'd have to be in a pretty tough place to do it, to eat those. So I will keep that in the back of my head and I will repeat it to everyone I meet, and they'll think I'm nuts. But what the fuck, dude? Just I can't. So like that's how China's gonna do it, huh? Skittles and Nerds. That's how they're gonna take us over, slowly killing us. Which it would make now that I think about it more and more, I could turn that into a really good script and a good movie, like a great Halloween movie, because there's all those legends. And I said it to my mom. I was like, Mom, wasn't it when I was a kid, people were putting razor blades in apples? Like it's like newsrooms around the frickin' world, or at least in the United States, they have a meeting every like 1st of October, right at the beginning of October. And like Halloween's coming up. We have to come up with a new fear-mongering story. Like we can't do the razor blades in the apples. That's been done to death. What about, all right, I know fentanyl is kind of trending. What about fentanyl? Okay. What does fentanyl look like? Okay. Well, could it look like this? Yes. Boom. Run with it. All right. And we'll pin it on China because everyone hates China. Got it. And you can't be a fan of the Mexican drug cartels. So like, we'll just say, how is China getting into the country? Easy. Mexican drug cartels. And again, this could be happening. I'm not 100% out on it. I'm not completely disavowing it, but it just feels so goddamn far-fetched. But at this point, I'm willing to entertain anything. So it's just like, how did a happy birthday call turn into Halloween fentanyl gate? There's fentanyl in your candy. And, stories about, and then this is the kicker though. She goes, I know you hate law enforcement. I was just like, what? When did I ever say that? When did I ever say that I hate law enforcement? She goes, well, in high school, in college. And I'm like, yes. Like, yes, I had some run-ins with the law because I was young, dumb, and full of cucumber. But yeah, and did I like those interactions with the cops? No, it sucks because I was always on the wrong end of it. It was never like, we just want to come over and congratulate you and thank you for helping us, helping our community become a better place. Like, and that never happens. So yes, I've had some run-ins with the law. It stinks how the law has treated me sometimes, but a blanket statement like, I know you hate law enforcement. It's like, I don't freaking hate law enforcement. It's like, well, I didn't see you with a Blue Lives Matter flag. And it's like, yeah, you didn't see me with a Black Lives Matter flag either. It's like, I'm kind of, and believe me, I get it. I'm spineless. I don't have a spine. I'm without vertebra. I got it. I'm a blob, a jellyfish, a coward, a yellow belly. I get it. But I am like a lot of the kids in South Park when something fucking very charged hits the land. I'm like, all right, I'm out. There's just no, you feel that way. You feel that way. I don't think there's any, I'm not Jesse Jackson over here. I'm not going to be able to bring you guys together. There's no shot. So I'm just going to like let you guys murder each other. And I'll be here when the dust settles, ready to rebuild civilization. With some new tenets. No. I mean, you could say I support both of those movements. Yeah, Black lives do matter, just like cops' lives matter. Should we be walking around just randomly shooting cops in the head? No. Should cops be going around randomly shooting Black people because of XYZ kind of prejudice and whatever? No. I disagree with anyone killing anyone. So let's just keep that in mind. As I tell my daughter, be kind, be polite, and be nice, which is, it's like 3 different ways of saying the same thing. I just want her to be a good kid. Just be a good, just have fun. Make sure you have fun and be good. Don't get all caught up in stuff that will like literally tear you apart internally. I know you hate law enforcement. It's like, oh my God. I can't even believe what my mom thinks of me. It's just like, hey, just a heads up, I'm still your son and I love you, but what is going on right now? According to her, I'm a Joe Biden guy, even though I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for anyone. And I'm a libtard, and I hate law enforcement. Just so we're keeping the running list now, I am literally everything my mom hates. But she loves me and is very proud of me. And I don't care that you're, all these horrible things in her mind. Like, all right, cool. Cool. Thanks, Mom. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. There's a lot of that over the weekend where it was like someone makes some kind of horrific statement or whatever about something. And it's just like, happy birthday to you. But yeah, if I were a king, I don't know. I don't think I would want to be king, but like getting back to House of the Dragon, I guess I would be somewhat like King Viserys in a lot of ways, where it's like the last thing we want is war. But then there are times where, like, not to spoil House of the Dragon, but like the finale, the last episode, it was like, yep, war, let's do it, war. We're going to war. Like, there's only so much prudence you can show, I guess is the right word. Almost so much patience and understanding that you can demonstrate before you're like, all right, kill them all. Vindictive is, I wouldn't classify myself as vindictive, but it's like, I can't tell you how many times that I've said to myself, man, if I had like added to the list, like I'm Steve Buscemi in, what was it? Billy Madison. It's just like, I'm making a list. It's all talk. I'm just all bark, no bite. But it would be nice to get revenge on all my enemies. What? All right, Jesus. I'll end the life portion of this here pod with 2, maybe 3 things. One is my daughter and her wardrobe choices have gotten out of control. We are in the northeast region of the United States of America. It's getting chili con carne out there. Nips are frozen. So like, we need to start bundling up. We need to start wearing layers. And she has now taken that to the extreme, where every morning that I have her and we're getting ready for school, her first outfit, she walks out and it's almost like she knows that's not the right outfit to wear. It's just not appropriate. She just freaking knows. She just wants me to have a reaction. And I give it to her every time because I'm a sucker. And so the one time she comes out in like shorts and she wants to wear sandals with a tank top. I'm like, newsflash. Okay, I don't know if you blacked out for the past few months. We're in the thick of autumn and we're barreling towards winter, and this is not going to cut it. Like, there's a high of 52 today. Like, you can't be. I like where you're at mentally because you feel like you're tough enough to withstand that kind of chill, and maybe that is what you want to do. It's like training You're training for the nuclear apocalypse or whatever the hell is coming our way. According to my mother, the Chinese going to drop a bomb. So is Russia. So hope you have fun this weekend with your friends, because the planet's not going to exist after this weekend because of the bombs and the attacks and the invasions. Like, oh God, happy birthday. There's either that approach, or she'll come out. The one time she came out in the morning for school, she was wearing pajama pants, a dress, and a Spider-Man rash guard that you would wear to the pool or the ocean over the dress. It's like, yeah, I know that the homeless look is sometimes adopted for shock and awe at some fashion shows and on the runways. Like homeless chic is a thing, I guess. Maybe it was in Zoolander. I can't remember. But I don't know that it necessarily works in real life. So let's mix it up. Let's change it up here. You don't need a rash guard. You have a hoodie sweatshirt that could work over that dress. And oh my God, you're wearing shorts underneath your pajama pants. And oh my God, you're wearing your full-on bathing suit or leotard singlet under the shorts. So it's a singlet or bathing suit, shorts, pajama pants, dress, Spider-Man rash guard. And I said, hey, why? I know I said you have to layer up because it's cold, but you've gone a little too far with this one. There's too many layers, okay? This is a 7-layer dip in wardrobe form, and we don't have the chips for that. So let's just peel off some of these layers. And I asked her, I was like, what's with the bathing suit and the shorts underneath the pants and the long sleeve shirt? She's like, well, and she gets very upset when I ask her, very upset. And she gets verklempt, like Mike Myers as the Coffee Talk SNL skit. She gets verklempt and almost can't talk, has trouble breathing, is on the brink of tears. And I'm just like, hey, let's just breathe. Let's just talk this through. Just curious. Why are you wearing all that stuff? And eventually she is able to tell me, well, I want to take it to mommy's. And I'm like, yes, the emotional scarring has begun. Can't wait to see how deep this scar can go and how long it can last. This is going to be fun, y'all. Seeing my daughter, just her mind get ripped to shreds because of this stupid divorce, dude. Oh my God. So I was like, well, you have a backpack. So anything you want to take to mommy's, you put it in the backpack. She's like, okay. But it's just like, did you ever ask me that if you could take something to hers? And I said, no, I don't remember that ever happening. So why is there all of a sudden this, I gotta sneak clothing to mommy's because daddy really likes those shorts. I have no idea. That'll be fun to unbox in therapy when she eventually goes to therapy for all the utter nonsense that we're putting her through, having 2 different households that pull her in different directions, 2 different families that have 2 different mentalities and approaches and philosophies to how to raise a child. I'm sure that won't result in multiple personality disorder. It's gonna be quite the experience. No, but we'll work out. I equate it to that scene from Big Daddy where it's the Julian comes out for school and he's wearing rain boots with a scuba mask and a full blown hat, long ski hat with polka dot, whatever. It's that's essentially what Brie looks like every morning. She looks like Frankenstein. You call me Frankenstein. I can't wait for that too. I think that's going to be next. I was telling a friend that I hated my name growing up. And so I'd often go by, and I've said this on the pod probably, but I'd go by my middle name, which is David. Because my first name, Neal, is it's not that unique, but it's not your standard name like Dave, Matt, Chris, Steve. None of those are just all right. You throw Neal out there and it kind of rubs people the wrong way. They're like, I don't know if I well, can you just be Dave? It's I would sign on my papers David Lynch. So it's technically it's not wrong. It's my middle name, but it's not wrong. Not knowing that there was also a director by the same name who has quite the vision, has put a lot of interesting work on film and screen. And so then eventually it was just call me Fox. And I can't remember why. I was 8 or 9, and I can't remember why I wanted people to call me Fox. And I don't even know if my parents knew. But my parents decided to go along with it. They're like, all right, you want to be called Fox? Let's do it up. So my 9th birthday or my 8th birthday, it was on the cake, it's happy birthday, Fox. And they got me a shirt that was hi, my name is Fox. It's they really leaned into it. And I think it did the trick because I was yeah, I don't want to be called Fox anymore. This is, the more you say it, the more I see it. It just doesn't... It doesn't sit well with me. So we can go back to Neal. It's fine. Let's go back to Neal. So I'm sure she'll get sick of Brielle or Brie and go her own way. Go her own way. Very excited to find out what that'll be. It'll be like, call me Tanya. And I'll be like, all right. So is it Tanya? No, it's a Tahnyihhhhhh. So that's life.